aka Indigo Sky, aka y'all already know who it is. Trigger rank, and I'm about to come in here and do a little short little live. When y'all come in here, man, y'all be sure to hit the like button. I want y'all to subscribe, and y'all want to support the channel. Everything is at the top of my top description bar on my channel. Appreciate everybody for coming in. We're about to come in here and do a little reaction. Let's just see what we got to react to. I'm probably just gonna do a little short one, y'all. Let me see. We might do this Big U one. Trap More Ross, y'all. Y'all check out Trap More Ross.
For the most comfortable luxury.
Bluetooth connected.
Trapmore gang, I'm back with another video, and yes, I'm wearing the Seattle Mariners hat. It is another video about the rolling 60s, okay? For all these hat haters, I've heard all the nonsense about what hats I'm allowed to wear. Apparently it's trolling, you can't wear this hat, you can't wear that. I'll wear whatever hat I want. I went to the lid store and I bought this hat. This is no disrespect, but it just so happens, all right? I'm talking about people that are known for wearing this hat. I'm gonna wear this hat. I could wear any hat I want to. I could just throw on any hat I want to. If I wanted to throw on a different hat for any other topic, I could do whatever I want, okay? If you ban me from the lid store, then maybe you can tell me what hat to wear. But
try that shit at, yeah, you try that shit and goddamn, see, Cali, a lot of people don't really know that. Chicago, more so Chicago. Chicago is more so the one where you gotta be careful what you wear, like the way you wear your hat, you gotta turn this way, turn that way. You gotta be careful.
Anyway, I'm here for an update on obviously the most notorious Rolling 60 Crip in Los Angeles. Hell, could you even say the world at this point? I mean, Big U, as far as the streets goes, I don't think anybody's name was carrying as much weight as Big U. And unfortunately, it does seem like Big U is in trouble once again. Okay, if you've been following this channel, you will know that there's been a heartbreaking tragedy hitting the Henley family, and Big U's son, Baby U, he did pass away. He unfortunately lost his life in a situation on Halloween night, and a lot of my friends, people that I know that are involved or affiliated with them guys that wear this hat, I ain't even trying to say too much, but a lot of people have been really upset and heartbroken. A lot of people that I care for, a lot of people.
Yeah, Trapmore Ross, man, he might need to chill out with all that. It's like, bro, if you know that's what the other gang, well, I wouldn't wear the hat, bro, to do this segment, like, and then just to come out and say, oh, I'm gonna wear what other hat I want to wear. You might need to chill, buddy. But hey, to each his own. Hey, pray for your health and wellness, brother.
They were hurt by the tragic passing of Baby U, man. So I'm gonna just show you a quick clip that just kind of refreshes your memory on the situation, and then I'll tell you how the feds are allegedly doing Big U super dirty over this whole situation, man. It is kind of getting a little bit sad, but at the same time, unfortunately, it does seem like the feds are dealing pretty heavy consequences to Big U for what they are alleging that he was involved in. So let's just refresh our memories on the news.
New details on a shooting we first brought you yesterday morning. A man killed in South LA on Halloween night is the son of a former rap executive and alleged former gang leader.
34-year-old Jabari Henley is the son of Eugene Henley, better known as Big U. Eugene Henley once managed Nipsey Hussle and is alleged to be the former leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang. Police say Jabari was shot and killed near Figueroa and 69th Street after he walked into a vehicle and someone inside opened fire before driving off. Police say his father's gang ties are a major part of the investigation.
It's a really sad situation, man, and just, really, really tragic. Now, Baby U's brother did actually respond to this tragic news, and he kind of gave his opinion on the situation. Obviously, Diane Henley is, Big U's other son, who actually plays professionally, plays NFL, plays professional football. I think he is with the LA Chargers, which obviously is just a great testament to, look, I'm not trying to infer anything negative by this, but like clearly Big U was doing some things right in fatherhood. Maybe he did some things wrong. maybe he did some things wrong as far as how he managed his business. But if you got a son that's playing for the NFL, you've got to be doing something right, okay? And he was apparently training Crenshaw High School Crenshaw High, the football team there. Clearly, he was doing something right, okay? And his other son, Diane, has spoken out and said, 2025 brought me more pain than joy, and this one has been by far the biggest hit. My family gonna stand through the storm because that's who we are. I'm gonna make sure we're straight, big bro. I got nephew, don't even worry about it. I love y'all. Allah bless me with one more night with my big brother, but I didn't know you.
Damn, son.
Forever, Yui. Thank you for all the love and condolences. It truly means the world to me, fam. We are fighters, man. So look, this was a really tragic situation. I know a lot of people just were devastated by hearing this news. Now, what's really messed up, really, there's not really any other way to say it. Big U's been requesting a day release from prison on these federal charges that he's been facing. Obviously, there's a murder that happened. You know, a young man, Rayshon Williams, lost his life, and then there's a whole racketeering conspiracy that he was apparently embezzling money for developing options. He had a non-profit that was apparently profit for Big U. Right now, these are just allegations, obviously innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, it looks bad. All right, you know, people get on my case, they say I pick and choose, but look, Big U, it looks bad. He's looking cooked. The evidence looking bad. If he can beat it, you know, hopefully he gets his fair day in court, but it does look very bad. And a lot of people that know the situation do feel like it looks really bad.
This is Buick, now. Buick, exceptional by design.
Get 0.9% APR on these 2025 Buick models. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get up to 3.
Is that he's been requesting kind of day release so that he...
Hey, yeah, y'all let me know where y'all tapping in from. City, state, Providence, country, wherever you're tapping in from, let me know.
Go to his son's funeral, and the feds aren't playing ball, man. They're really not having it. He's basically looking to leave prison to attend his slain son's funeral. Big U's eldest son, Jabari, was murdered in South Los Angeles on Halloween night, a day before his NFL star brother helped the charges.
Okay, so at least they're going to let him go see his son get buried. At least they're going to do that.
So an imprisoned former 60 Crip leader who's now charged with allegedly using his anti-violence non-profit as a cover of a plethora of crimes, including murder, is asking a judge to allow him to attend the Islamic service to his slain son, who was shot dead on Halloween night. Now, people that know Islam and you know, people that practice the Muslim faith, they deal with burials and funerals very quickly. I'm not the expert scholar in this. I couldn't tell you the exact reason why that is, but they move very quickly when it comes to having funerals. They want to do these things quickly, and obviously this is leaving Big U scrambling to try and get to the bottom of this, and you know, try and be able to essentially
go to
request to be able to have temporary supervised release. The elder Henley's attorney to file a motion with the federal court to allow his temporary supervised release from pretrial detention so that he'll be able to take part in the mandatory Islamic religious rites for his recently murdered son. His lawyers told the judge that Henley's family are devout Muslims and that the spiritual rites for the dead in that faith are of the utmost importance for the family. The death of one child represents an unparalleled human tragedy. The opportunity to attend and participate in the funeral rites is not merely a matter of personal preference, but a fundamental expression of human dignity recognized across cultures and legal systems. So his attorneys would write, to deny this narrow request would inflict an additional profound layer of suffering on a parent already enduring the unimaginable grief of burying their child by preventing them from fulfilling sacred religious obligations and participating in a final essential farewell. The court filing also provided new insights into the last night of Jabari Henley's life. He'd apparently been participating in a trick-or-treat event with his family and then had what the attorneys called a quiet dinner. Hours later, they wrote Henley was gunned down in a parking lot when assailants opened fire from a vehicle before fleeing, and nobody's been arrested. So he's basically put this request a lot across, right? And they're saying that his attorneys quoted residents of Los Angeles who say they were helped by his nonprofit, calling Big U a man of faith, redemption, and social value. The attorneys also told the court they're willing to abide by any security restrictions imposed by a federal judge so that he can be released temporarily from custody. He said his movements will be strictly limited to a fixed itinerary between MDC Los Angeles and the ISOC Mortuary Mosque, departing at 8 a.m. and returning promptly after Salah al-Janaza. The attorneys promise in the filing, adding that their client will have no contact with any witnesses, co-defendants, or alleged victims during that period. And this is
I wonder, is they gonna let him go see his son? Though I wonder.
Operation Drawdown, everybody that got busted down, man, and free my guy Brick Baby, man, free Brick Baby. He's been going through a lot recently. I spoke to him the other day, man. So this is going to kind of recap a lot of the stuff that we already knew, but the feds have essentially clapped back And yeah, the feds have clapped back and they're not having it. Okay, I've got some of the paperwork that the feds actually put across, but here's just kind of like a summary article that gives a little bit of backstory. This was on allhiphop.com, just summing up the situation. They said that Big U, according to prosecutors, Big U is too dangerous to attend his own son's funeral. Said Big U asked the federal judge to let him out of jail long enough to wash and shroud his son's body.
That's crazy. That's real crazy.
After the janaza prayer. Basically, prosecutors say there's no way they can trust him outside the walls of the MDC in Los Angeles. Their new filing argued that he's far too dangerous, too unpredictable, and already breaking so many jail rules that even a tightly controlled funeral release would actually put people at risk. Ultimately, Big U's release that any amount of time creates far too great a risk to justice in the case and to human life. The defendant should remain detained for the safety of the community and the victims and witnesses to his crimes. I used to be good at reading stuff. I don't know what's happened. I think maybe I need glasses. So this kind of basically says that he was going to have all the costs covered by his family. He was going to pay for him to basically have a fixed route between the detention center and the funeral, no contact with anyone, private security paid for by his family. But prosecutors responded by laying out months of alleged misconduct that had occurred behind bars. They said recorded calls showed hundreds of violations, including using other inmates' numbers so that they could call people that he didn't want the jail to track. They said that each call opened with the inmate speaking for voice verification before handing him the phone. Prosecutors then said he had people add third parties on encrypted apps and warned them to stick to those encrypted platforms. They also claimed that he used those calls to mostly reach his girlfriend, allegedly not his wife. According to prosecutors, the two talked about slipping illicit photos through the mail by hiding them in legal papers and continued having phone sex. They also said he coached her on signing up for one paralegal class so that she could pose as a legal visitor. Just one paralegal class, so that's all it takes apparently. So she could pose as a legal visitor and bypass visitation rules. The brief said he didn't even stop there. Prosecutors said that he discussed passing messages to co-defendants barred from contacting him, reaching a confidential informant, pushing a rule that no one should plead guilty unless he does, and spending large sums on investigating.
So I think they're saying in jail, he's sending people kites or whatever. And a kite in jail is basically you slip a letter up under somebody's door or something like that to get a message to them. And I seen a video with Bezu, and it looked like he was walking down the hallway and they was recording him. He had some papers in the hand. And for one split second, it looked like he took a piece of the paper and just slid it like that right there and kept going, but they didn't even catch that shit. Like, it was so slick and smooth, I had to rewind the video. So if I'm there and I'm the police, I'm sure I probably wouldn't have seen that shit because he did it so slick and smooth.
Despite having court-appointed lawyers, prosecutors argued that letting him out, even briefly, could expose witnesses, noting that he knows precisely who reported him. They said that courts rarely grant funeral leave in cases like this, and added that his unnamed private security team doesn't qualify as an appropriate person to supervise him under federal law. A private security team could have been made up of members of the 6-0 organization, perhaps.
Yeah, so the security that he was gonna have wasn't gonna be reputable. It might have been like some gang members or something. That's why they didn't want him to, I guess, have the security he was gonna have.
It's very unfortunate. Okay, it was officially denied by the judge. Okay, the judge wasn't having it. That was the prosecutors clapping back.
So they denied it.
The judge indeed denied this request.
Damn.
His application for temporary release to go to his son's funeral has been denied in court. In a hearing in a California federal court on Monday, Judge Fernando Anel Rocha officially prevented Big U from leaving prison while he awaits his trial for the RICO case. He was asking for the ability to attend, obviously, the funeral of his son. The judge offered an alternative that Henley be granted a private visitation with his deceased son and a remote video conference that would allow him to view the funeral service. It was not clear as of this writing whether Henley had accepted the offer. I'll keep it real. Obviously, it's not the result he was looking for, but he is facing very serious charges. I think that's actually a generous offer, to be completely honest. They're offering him a private visitation with his deceased son. I assume, I think in previous reporting that I read, they were talking about he wanted to be able to attend the mortuary. Maybe there's a way that they can bring the body to the prison mortuary. I don't know how it works. It does sound like that's actually quite a reasonable offer, to be given a private visitation with his deceased son, as well as a remote video conference that would allow him to view the service. I don't know that they can bus bodies around before they're buried officially, but that is actually crazy. But his Islamic funeral is scheduled to take place on Friday, the 21st of November. So that's 2 days on from when I'm recording this video. The actual burial, which Big U didn't even request to attend, is happening the following day. Now, so there's some paperwork that's been going around. Okay, I'll keep it real. There's some paperwork that's been going around. And this basically this is just going to kind of recap everything that you've already just heard from these articles. But the wording, I think, is quite brutal. The way that the prosecutors kind of clapped back and wanted him to be denied this was actually quite damning. And I do feel like, obviously, it is innocent until proven guilty, but they're really being quite vindictive and basically trying to... The way that they're doing it does feel a little bit like they're trying to punish him for his crimes before he's been convicted of them. But at the same time, you are on trial for, serious RICO charges. There's a murder involved. I kind of get where they're coming from, but I also feel like maybe there was a little bit too much venom in this. It says, for a parent to have to bury their child is a tragedy that none should suffer. For a parent to miss that burial is yet another tragedy. Unfortunately, such is the case here. First, regardless of the circumstances, the factors set forth in the Bail Reform Act still apply. And here, also known as Big U, is charged with the murder of a young man who himself was buried by his parents, a funeral that defendant famously did not attend, despite knowing the victim his whole life, managing his music career, and paying for the trip that would be his last moments on earth. Amid the other vast and sweeping allegations in this case, the Bail Reform Act continues to demand detention based on danger and risk of non-appearance. And then it basically goes on here to say, in order to fully assess the defendant's temporary leave request, the government obtained and reviewed defendant's phone communications in federal custody. These communications revealed a complete, if not wanton, disregard for the BOP rules.
See, like, this stuff about good behavior, it's kind of hard when you fighting the case or you fighting for your life, because basically, bro, if you fighting for your life, bro, you trying to do everything you can to get evidence, and to, you know what I mean? You might have to break a couple rules to make sure your ass is good, but hey, it happens, man.
Willful attempts to evade discovery of these violations and continued attempts to obfuscate and hide his communications. For example, the defendant has utilized other inmates' BOP numbers and accounts to complete hundreds of calls in violation of BOP rules. In each of those calls, the inmate whose account defendant is using speaks first to verify their voice before handing the phone over to the defendant. In at least half of those hundreds of calls, defendant then has the person he's calling add a third person via an encrypted application. Defendant instructs those callers to only ever use encrypted applications for such three-way calls and to utilize only those same applications when discussing any of his business. Defendant also instructs the callers not to greet him with traditional Islamic phrases because it may alert BOP that he's using another inmate's accounts. Now, what is tough about this is that he probably thought he was getting away with this. He probably thought, I'm encrypting this, we're being slick, we're circumventing the rules, like, we got this down pat. And unfortunately, that was...
And they still found out he was doing some crazy shit behind bars, so... It's like he can't beat the system.
The case. They basically go on to kind of explain that, he was using these calls not just to, do street business or just pass the time, but apparently he was getting busy, talking to his girlfriend, having phone sex, planning to release nudes. You've already heard about that, but the wording I think is interesting. It says the content of those calls itself are a violation of BOP policy, as the majority of the calls using other inmates' numbers are to an individual identified that defendant referred to as his girlfriend. In those calls, Big U discusses how to thwart the male policy so he can get illicit photos of her while incarcerated, as well as hiding those photos in legal folders while simultaneously engaging in phone sex. Defendant and his girlfriend have also developed a scheme in which the girlfriend will sign up for a single paralegal class so she can visit him in custody, subverting the FDC rules that only allow for immediate family or legal visits. Defendant also discussed sending messages to his co-defendants who are on pretrial supervision with orders not to contact them co-defendants. A desire to enforce a rule that no one in the case should be allowed to plead guilty unless the defendant does. I guess we call that the young thug and gunner rule now. And getting in touch with a confidential informant or snitch, according to the defendant in this case. That's crazy. So they're basically saying that he has actually got in touch with an informant on the case. He's contacted them. hiring and paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a team of lawyers, investigators, and paralegals, despite his current retainment of two CJA-funded attorneys and other white-coded communications. So they're basically trying to say, look, you're talking about you're going to defend yourself, you're getting a state defender. Meanwhile, you're somehow spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on investigators and trying to get to the bottom of this situation. And you low-key, you're breaking all the rules, and just what you're saying is going on isn't really what's going on. Now, that's crazy. Now, one person who did have a lot to say about this, I'm not condoning these statements, but, okay, this is really Big U's biggest op right now on the internet. Christopher Lovejoy, man, Mr. 600. He had a lot to say. He was dissing. I can't confirm or deny any of the stuff he says, but he really was going hard at Big U, okay? He was basically reposting that paperwork that we've just seen and dissing Big U. He says, the feds say, F your son's funeral, you're here for a murder of a kid who lived with you and you didn't even go to his funeral. Sit your dumb ass down, boy. That's what he's saying. I'm not saying that, but that's what he's saying. It says, the feds filed to deny Big U of going to his son's funeral. One reason is because of the murder of Rachel that he's in jail for. Big U didn't even go to his funeral. The next clip we're going to show the paperwork where it says you were getting naked pictures from other women while you were in the feds. Aren't you married?
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. How we deliver has changed, but our purpose hasn't, especially during the holiday.
Bruh. He said, man, go sit your dumb ass down. What the F you doing? You didn't know they recorded.
So they just put all his business out here, just like, God, just put it all out there, like.
Everything, man, just tell the truth. We know you didn't pull the trigger, man, lol. He said, Big U, aka Big Dummy, is effed off seeing his son because he wants to do his thing to a woman he's never going to see. They're saying, dude, having phone sex. So C600 is savaging him.
Come on, Skiro.
This is a separate thing. Shout out to him though for doing something positive. He was laughing and blowing his nose and celebrating when Big U was officially denied. This is the official paperwork. And you know, it does say it was denied there. He said it used to be safe, stay safe, now it's dangerous, long live Nipsey Hussle. And then again, he just done another post. Says they say that Big U was at the phone in front of the hallway, in front of everybody, playing with himself, standing up, whispering, ain't no cell phones, unfed NDCLA. He said that's embarrassing. He ain't even hit the pen yet. Don't let him leak the tapes. Now, look, I can't condone for what 600's saying, but I watched the video that said he nashed it on the situation, and he basically said, look, he can't comment on the situation, but essentially he understands why 600 and Big U are having this beef, you know, and they've been going at it for quite some time. There's been a lot of disrespect on both sides. I covered it in a whole documentary that I did on my channel, and yeah, it's gotten incredibly personal and incredibly disrespectful. Now, I am still interested to hear more information about this Big U case, which he's saying, and I've heard from other people saying Big U didn't actually do this murder. I don't know much more than that, but he just said, you know, say you didn't do it, maybe you didn't do it, okay? So he might actually be able to beat this. Maybe he beat the murder charge, maybe he won't beat the kind of corruption charges that he's facing. But really, this is a tough day for Big U, and I can't imagine what he's going through. No matter what he's been accused of, he hasn't been convicted of that yet. And for him to miss his son's funeral is definitely tough. I do feel like the state actually offering him the opportunity to have a special supervised visit with his son, who's obviously passed away, but I don't know how that works. I don't know the logistics of that. Maybe they arranged for that, for him to have a private viewing with his son. I don't know if that fulfills the kind of terms of the Islamic faith that he's trying to fulfill. Hopefully it does, and hopefully that they can maybe meet somewhere in the middle, and this isn't really about trying to control or get out or do maybe this really is just about having that send-off for his son that he feels like fulfills his obligations as a father who follows Islam.
You gotta check out Trap Morals. We got Uncle Nocho coming up next. Exposes Eagle teammates. Frustrated with Jalen Hurts gets ugly.
Michelob Ultra Zero. Zero alcohol, ultra smooth taste. Just
hello, it's your favorite sports thunk here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join another day, another report coming out of the Eagles locker room. This time it's for Diana Rossini of The Athletic. After asking people inside the Eagles building, it was explained that multiple offensive players have grown frustrated with Jalen Hurts' approach this season, particularly against zone coverage. They believe he's become too hesitant in tight windows, leaning on checkdowns or scramble instead of trusting what's open downfield. Philly ranks 30th in pass attempts. The result, pass catchers have become disinterested. Any top receivers I've covered in this league have said the same thing. They spend hours getting open. When the ball doesn't come their way, frustration follows. It's a talented offense that knows it's underperforming. This isn't just Brown venting. The whole unit wants more. Trust, more communication, and maybe a little more edge from its leader. Ocho?
Hey, them boys frustrated, baby. Them boys, hey, listen, them boys frustrated because they 30th in what? What 30th in what?
30th in pass attempts.
Okay, 30th in pass attempts. How many teams in the NFL? 32 teams. They're 30th in pass attempts. But the most important thing that people are gonna look at is that record. What's their record? 82. Okay. So if at any point, so right now being 30th in pass attempts is not affecting the most important stat, the win column. You're still getting wins. But what I think is you're gonna have to evolve. As the season continues to go on, you're gonna have to get better in certain areas. As a
72, my bad.
But like I was saying, they're going to have to get better in certain areas as you play better teams, as you get to the playoffs. What you've done in the regular season is not going to work. They're going to have to be a healthy balance. There hasn't been a healthy balance because not only are you 30th in pass attempts, the run game is not what it once was. You are being carried by your defense. You're being carried by your defense. So at some point, I'm not sure when, there's a lot of football left to be played, but at some point the offense is going to have to hit.
To carry its load.
To carry its load because right now the defense is doing all the carrying. So I like Jalen Hurts. I like what he does with the ball. He doesn't take many chances. Matter of fact, hell, he don't take any goddamn chances at all.
Frustrated. Because that's why they're frustrated. Because he's not trusted to throw the ball. It's like if it's zone coverage, if it's not wide open, you're not throwing the football instead of
trusting. Can I say something? Especially with those zone coverages. Yeah, when it comes to those zone coverages, he has to have unbelievable anticipatory skills and really rely and trust his receivers to be in the right place every time. To run through those zones and being able to put them there before you come out your break, that ball got to be going. It got to be going. And maybe that's just not who that's not who he is. Maybe it's not, because at this point in juncture in your career, if you're not doing it now.
That's all. Football is a complicated sport, man. It's like I said, people practice to be open all day long, and when they get in the game, they're open and don't get the ball.
You probably never will, huh?
It is going to be hard for the simple fact, I mean, he grew up playing with Nick Saban. And one thing Nick Saban's what? Don't turn the ball over. And maybe he's become overly cautious. Because what do we say about we always say about Jalen Hurts?
Yes.
He takes care of the football. He doesn't put the football in harm's way. Well, in order to be prolific as an offense of throwing the football, you just have to put the ball in harm's way sometimes. You just do. You just do, Ocho. Sometimes to get to the other side, you got to cross dangerous waters.
Yeah.
You just do, Ocho. Yeah. You just do. And so, look,
and that's just like Michael Jordan and Kobe. Michael Jordan, when he was in UNC Charlotte, he had to take that last shot to win the game. That he took that three. And if he wouldn't have took that shot, he probably wouldn't be the Michael Jordan that he was today. Kobe, I think Kobe, first time having the ball to win the game, he took the shot and missed it. And Kobe said, "I'll never do it again. I'll never not miss a game-winning shot ever again." And he practiced until he was straight. What's up? What's up, man?
I've never
where you tapping that from?
Understood what AJ was saying. What I was saying is that when you say it publicly and you're having team success, people will look at you a certain type of way. They're not going to hear that, man, look, I want to help the offense. This offense can be so much better. They're going to say, you just complaining. Just be content. You making your money and you're 7-2. But that's not what and AJ said, look, if we were losing, that wouldn't be okay. And I know this offense can be so much more. You heard Smitty on the sideline.
Okay, cool.
He did, yeah.
I've been sleeping during the day, but I gotta get up early, so I might just head to bed. But I'm fully rested though.
They you know what? I think they're gonna be all right. I think they're gonna be all right. Still, I know they're frustrated. I know Devontae's probably frustrated. We've heard AJ and his gripes, but
they got totally different personalities.
Completely different personalities, but they winning though. They winning. And listen, I know Saquon is frustrated, but knowing who he is and knowing his character and the type of player he is, he's not one of those that come out public and say anything. So he's gonna keep chopping. He's gonna keep chopping wood. At some point, that wood is gonna break.
Yep.
When he gonna have that game, I don't know when, but it's gonna be a big one. Hell, it might be this week. I know it's a big game against the Lions.
Cause they're gonna put on the board now.
I think they got to play the Lions. I think they play the Lions like Saturday. I think they play the Lions. What's up? What's up, man? Y'all chilling, man? Where you tapping in from?
The goddamn Lions be up goddamn 28-0. You see how Seattle looked last week. You see how the Rams looked last week. There's a good chance that this is a game where the Eagles offense has to open up. Goddamn Petula. Hey, you bet, man, listen, I don't know what playbook you've been using, but you're gonna have to open that motherfucker up this week. You're gonna have to open it up tomorrow. You're gonna have to. Unless the Eagles defense is playing that goddamn well, it's able to stifle Gibbs and Montgomery. They're not stop J-Mo and St. Brown. Listen, some got to give. You ain't gonna be able to stop everything. So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited, for the Eagles to see what they do. To me, that might be the best game tomorrow, outside of the Bengals and Steelers.
And you know what you call him is Dan Campbell calling
That's right.
now. So you
Right,
know Dan
very
Campbell
aggressive. Hey, anytime they get across the 50, let's say 40 in, that's 4-down territory. For the 40, that's 4-down territory.
Especially if it's probably 3 yards less.
Absolutely. Yeah, they don't
absolutely. T.O. say he empathizes with AJ as a receiver and has provided not so subtle hints about his frustration with the state of the offense. If you're in an offense, especially with AJ being receiver number 1, you want to be involved in the offense. I don't blame him. That's an offensive coordinator thing. I truly understand where he's coming from because you have to utilize the guy based on his skill set.
I like that. I listen and miss it.
If you got hell of a receivers and you got Saquon Barkley, people like that can actually run the ball and catch the ball, you got to use these people, bro. Like, you can't just have them out there all willy-nilly. And I know y'all got a good, you shouldn't have to, beg the quarterback to throw you the fucking ball. If you're wide open, bro, the quarterback should take that, initiative to get the ball to you.
Man, that's coming from the greatest receiver of all time. One of my guy. And you know how T.O. was. He was not shy about voicing his frustrations when he's not used correctly. Hey, he don't play. He gonna let you know. Matter of fact, he gonna let you know on the field. Now, I think the Eagles will be fine until we see AJ Brown pacing up and down the sideline behind Jalen Hurts like T.O. was doing Donovan McNabb back in the day. You remember that, huh? Mm-hmm. That was so funny. But I think they're gonna be fine.
Chevy makes America's most dependable trucks.
Somebody said I was old. Check this out. I'm old enough to fuck your mama and I'm young enough to fuck your auntie, nigga.
That was so funny. But I think they're gonna be fine. I'm not sure how much freedom Jalen Hurts has to go on his own script, even when the plays are called, and being able to change stuff at the line of scrimmage based on what he sees from coverage. But to me, with a top 5 talent receiver that I have in AJ, if I had AJ Brown and I come to the line and I see any type of man-to-man, I'm checking. I'm coming out of it. And matter of fact, it could just be between me and him. Small hand signals, a tap of the face mask, a tap of the helmet, just to get you in rhythm, just to get you to touch the ball early. Seeing games where AJ Brown ain't touching the ball to the goddamn 3rd and 4th quarter, man, what the? Come on, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
Come on, man.
Like that.
Yeah, you got
Come on now,
AJ Brown,
come on
bro.
now.
That's
I
like
understand
that's
y'all
damn
want
near like having Megatron on your team.
and everything, but come on now. I mean, for those in the chat that maybe if you play football at any level, it doesn't have to be the NFL, but just being a part of the game, just let me know you want me, you know? Like, come on. Hey, why you laughing? I'm for real, That's like being.
It is. It's tough though, Ojo. It's tough. It's look. I played in a system that, you know, Mike was aggressive, but after we lost that game to Jacksonville in the playoffs, it was a different mindset. Now, if the game dictated, you know, hey, team, this is a team we need to score, we got to score 30, we got to match them, okay, I get it. But more times than not, we're going to start out running the football. We're going to start out running the football. And y'all, I don't know why they get mad. Ocho, why they get mad at us? Man, y'all just don't like her. Hey, I just think his quarterback, his wide receiver is frustrated.
Yeah.
I ain't catching no passes. Smitty saying, throw the ball. We better than I be telling them, throw the football. Jordan Mailata, throw the football. Lane Johnson said, we got to be better. He said, if I say anything, I'm just going to be the 18th guy on offense that's saying something about this. So y'all be talking about I'm sorry, y'all don't want us to report. I guess, you know, it shouldn't have got out. It shouldn't have got out about the meeting, and Ocho and I wouldn't have talked about the meeting that they had.
I got eyes, huh? I played the game. I played the game, I understand. And most people will be like, man, you ain't never won nothing. I'm winning in life. I'm winning in life. Hey, listen, I'm winning in life.
You are winning in life.
So I know what it takes. It took me to throw to my best receivers for us to win the game. Okay, listen, I played with the Bengals. I didn't have an opportunity. I didn't have an opportunity to win. I didn't. Okay, but that does not mean I can't talk about the frustration that AJ Brown is having and Devontae Smith are having on the offense that I see and watch every day, despite them winning. It's going to catch up to you when you play better teams. I want them to win tomorrow, but you're going to see the example on what we're talking about and why we talk about it when you play an explosive offense like the goddamn Detroit Lions that can put up 40 goddamn points at the blink of an eye.
I mean, hey, you got a good point.
I'm not an economist, but I know prices are rising. I know it costs more when I go to the grocery store and I buy ish. I know it costs more. I ain't go to Stanford. I ain't go to Harvard or Yale to be an economist or anything but I know what's going on. Just because you didn't win, you played that position. You of all people should know what it's like to play the position, have a level of expectations of being receiver number one, going through a whole week of practice, getting the ball, and then come Sunday, they don't look
until the fourth quarter.
Good to get 2 targets.
And stop.
Yeah. What you want me to do? So what you want me to do? You don't allow. That's like allowing. Say, you know what, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, or Shea. Just imagine saying, Shea, we don't want you to shoot the ball until the fourth quarter, until it's a crunch time. Jordan, don't shoot the ball to the fourth quarter. Kobe, don't shoot the ball to the fourth quarter. Jokic, Giannis, anybody, Luka. Come on, man. Just because you don't win doesn't mean that you don't have eyes, because you of all people should know, being receiver number one, the level of frustration that A.J. Brown has because he's not getting the targets and he's not being put in position to succeed. So now people looking like, man, AJ sauce, AJ washed. AJ ain't washed. AJ is not getting the opportunities, because we've seen 2 games when they're giving our AJ Brown opportunities. We've seen 2 games against the Rams, and we saw the other game where he had 4 for 120. I forget the game it was. So the Rams, the one was the Rams. What was the last game? What was the last game that they ended up winning? But that's what fans try to do. Well, you didn't win nothing. I didn't. But I know what that guy's going through. You ain't in the locker room. Yeah, you're right. I'm not in that locker room. But I was in a very similar locker room. And the one thing I can say about athletes, a lot of them think alike. The greater they are, I give you an indication of how they think.
And matter of fact, not only give it the funny thing about it.
He has another. The Vikings. The Vikings is where he had that big hit and Smitty went off against the Vikings. So he knows what he can do. He knows what he's capable of. He's a multiple-time Pro Bowl player, and he says, "I'm not getting the opportunities." Now, a lot of that is the offensive coordinator calling plays, but a lot of that is that when they call plays, I need my quarterback to have the courage. And for you to point that out, just because you don't win, a lot of guys that's on TV didn't win, and they talk about football all the time, and they make a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, y'all, check out Uncle Ocho nightcap.
If you know luxury.
They got good. Damn.
Oh, we back with another one.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Hip Hop Buddha was breaking down about the situation with how the robbers looked with the dog. They damn near was playing with the dog. The dog knew whoever was in there, and that was a good observation because if you're looking at the video, you're like, but then when he says, okay, look at the dog ain't even, they damn near playing with the dog, licking their feet like they already know him.
He set up his own house to get robbed. Yeah. Now, what burglar you know gonna think in their head they got time with the dog? Why is he playing with the dog? Why?
He know the dog. That's why he playing with him. He knows that dog.
Flacco video, Flacco, my boy. Shout out to Flacco. But Flacco, so man, I don't even think he looking at the video seeing what we seeing. Why is a burglar playing with the dog? What burglar you know finna play with the Y'all seen what happened when Boosie Dog got on that burglar? He wasn't playing with him. He came quicker, but told his ass up, did he? This dude.
Boosie Dog the property. As soon as the robber came up, I guess, to the window, Boosie got a big ass cane corso, probably about this tall, black. Yeah, and he got puppies. But I guess the big dog ran out there and chased the robber off of Boosie house. This little dog is playing with the actual people who breaking in the house, bro. And the robber's playing with them.
And
Come
now
on,
look,
bro.
that was yesterday. Y'all can go check out the whole video. I called it a fake, a fraud, a setup from the beginning. But y'all know 6ix9ine worked for the feds. So if anybody knows that he faked a burglary at his own house, it would be the feds. The video on this page, throwing money everywhere. Who goes throw money everywhere after they just, after a home invasion, bro? Like, who does that? So after a home invasion, I don't know where the video at, but he dropped like a Christian video, but he, my boy, you had to have, why would they say you did? What would they call him and say, look, bro, why you that niggas in there? And the feds, they know feds call him and say, why you set up this home invasion? Why did you set up your own house to be robbed? Y'all forgot, 6ix9ine is one of the biggest trolls the internet ever seen. I don't know why he did it. He's saying he didn't do it, but the feds say he did it. Not the Florida police or whatever county that is. Police ain't call him and say that he did anything. The feds, the same people he worked for, the same people that's trying to put him back in jail because he violated his probation or whatever he did. These are all facts. The same people he worked for, though, is accusing him of setting up his own home invasion. Which I said yesterday, it didn't look right. They looked at like amateurs. They looked like they'd been there before, but they looked like they was in there nervous doing what they was doing. They wasn't no real burglars. They wasn't no real gangsters. They wasn't no real steppers. They wasn't none of that, but they just winning this man crib with like a BB gun or something. Mom Dukes wasn't even scared. Mom Dukes from the hood, but the Bronx, New York, wherever she from in New York, she know what a real gun look like. They done went in there with the pea shooter. They done went in there with the guns that be at the circus, with the clown gun, the power, you shoot it, the flag, the flag pop out and say pound.
Damn.
So she wasn't even scared. The dog wasn't even scared. The dog like, damn, y'all gonna kick it with me?
This is crazy.
But like I said, man, you know, Buddha be going, but don't nobody listen to the Buddha, man. Hey, y'all get the conversation. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Fed say
Buddha
697.
Buddha called that shit. Y'all check out hip hop Buddha, man, but he definitely called it. We're going to I Am Coach Colin. Right now, we're going to end it off at
Outside, there's no better way to this week.
This is I Am Coach Colin.
Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. What's going on, guys? Now, we are getting into something a little emotional here. The head of security, Brian Harpole, is going into recounting when Charlie got hit. Now, this is hard for him, right? And listen, no matter where we stand on what we think of this guy, it seems like a lot of incompetence when we see what we can see, right? We don't know these guys, we don't know this company, we don't know any of that. But when we watch what we're able to see, and then we hear about the text messages and we see the interview where he's saying, oh, what could I do? I thought someone was on the roof and I didn't double check. When we see these things, we can only assume. So to be the most charitable, I think, you know, when we're trying to be the most charitable, there's some gross incompetence. But even so, when I saw somebody pass away in his arms, I mean, it's just gonna happen. Who end up seeing life lost in the line of duty, and they rightfully do it, and they're even messed up, right? And let's get into it.
My share, hit the notification bell. Y'all kicking me in the Karma Cafe. If you want to donate to the channel, it's at the top of my YouTube channel. And you can follow me across other social media platforms. Y'all kicking me in the Karma Cafe. Peace. Hey, love y'all one.